They fined me $1,000 for my grass. Yeah, my grass. Not because it was dangerous, not because it was abandoned, not because I ignored warnings, but because one person decided she could. When I first saw the notice taped to my front door, I honestly thought it was a joke. I stood there longer than I want to admit, rereading the same lines, waiting for my brain to catch up. Severe grass violations. Immediate fine. $1,000 due. My eyes slowly moved down the page until they hit the name at the bottom and my stomach dropped. Because it wasn't just any HOA signature, it was hers. The woman everyone avoided. The one neighbors whispered about. The one who always seemed to be watching. She wasn't officially in charge of everything, but she acted like she was. Clipboard, confident walk. That calm smile people use when they know you can't do much about what they're about to say. I'd seen her before, stopping people mid-conversation, taking photos, leaving notes. Everyone knew her reputation. She didn't enforce rules to keep things neat. She enforced them to feel powerful, and now her attention was on me. What made it worse was the timing, because that same morning, I had just finished my lawn. Not rushed, not sloppy. I mean clean lines, trimmed edges, watered right. I remember standing back afterward thinking, yeah, this actually looks good. So reading words like overgrown and neglected, my brain just couldn't connect them to reality. At first, fear crept in, because authority does that, even fake authority. Your mind doesn't jump to logic, it jumps to doubt. You start replaying everything, wondering what you missed, wondering if somehow you're wrong. And then I started noticing my neighbors, watching from their windows, some shaking their heads quietly, some pretending not to care. But the tension was real. And it wasn't just me. Everyone knew she overstepped. Everyone whispered, even the friends I trusted. Some said, don't challenge her, you'll regret it. Some said, just pay. It's easier. And part of me thought about giving in, because the fear of conflict is hard to ignore. But the longer I stood there, looking at my lawn, the more something felt off. This wasn't a mistake. This was intentional. So instead of reacting, I slowed everything down. I went inside, sat at the table, read the notice again. No warning, no prior notice, no chance to fix anything. Just a fine. That alone was strange. Even strict HOAs warn you first. But this wasn't about procedure. This was about control. So I did the one thing people like her don't expect. I asked for proof. No accusations, no threats, no attitude. Just a calm email. Can you please provide the photo evidence for this violation? That's it. I expected excuses, delays, silence. Instead, she replied, fast, almost too fast. Short message, confident, tone, photo attached. This clearly shows the violation. And the moment I opened that image, I understood why she sounded so sure. At first glance, it looked bad. Uneven grass, dark patches, long shadows cutting across the lawn. To someone not paying attention, it told a clear story. But something felt wrong. The shadows were too low, too sharp. The grass looked damp, heavy, not dry. And then I saw it. The timestamp. The photo was taken before sunrise. Not early morning, not borderline. Before sunrise. That meant dew, low light, compressed grass. More importantly, it meant she took the photo before homeowners are even allowed to do maintenance. She'll find me before I had the chance to comply. That's when fear disappeared, because this wasn't enforcement. This was a setup. She didn't document a violation. She manufactured one. And once I saw that, everything became clear. I didn't get angry. I didn't panic. I got calm, because authority only works when it's clean, and hers wasn't. So I replied, still calm, still respectful. I pointed out the timestamp, the maintenance hours, the overnight conditions. No insults, no accusations, just facts. Then I did the most important thing. I forwarded everything to the HOA board, the notice, the photo, the timestamp, the rules. No emotion, no demands. I let the evidence speak. And then I waited. For the first time since this started, I felt relaxed. Because once lies leave private messages and enter records, they don't survive. The response came quickly. Not from her, from the board. The fine was removed. No debate, no excuses, no explanation needed, just gone. But something else happened too. She vanished, not physically, but socially. She stopped coming near my house, stopped making eye contact, stopped speaking to me at meetings. And I noticed something else. Other neighbors started pushing back. Because once one person checks false authority, everyone else starts looking closer. That's the thing about small power. It depends on silence, on fear, on compliance. And the moment someone calmly questions it, it collapses. I started noticing small details, like whispers in the front yard, the way people peeked at their lawns when she walked by. Even casual greetings felt tense. Everyone was quietly observing. Everyone waiting for someone to stand up. I realized I wasn't just fighting a fine, I was shaking the illusion she had built. And it spread. People who had stayed silent, neighbors who paid every fine, started questioning rules, asking for proof, checking timestamps, because authority is only real as long as no one sees it crumble. This wasn't about grass. It never is. It's about control. Some people enforce rules to maintain order, others enforce them to feel important, and those people always expose themselves eventually. Because lies require perfect timing, facts don't. All it took was one timestamp, one detail she assumed no one would notice, and her authority disappeared. Quietly, no yelling, no confrontation, just truth. And then I started reflecting about fear, about authority, about how easy it is to let someone control you. If you don't pay attention, if you don't check facts. I realized authority isn't scary when it's real, it's scary when it's unchallenged. I also thought about neighbors, some who had been silently watching, some who had already suffered unfair fines, and some who were quietly cheering me on. They finally saw that false power can be dismantled calmly, logically, without drama. And I want you to see that too, because if you're ever facing someone hiding behind rules, slow down, ask for proof, check the details. Because truth doesn't shout, it waits. And when it speaks, everything changes. Even in neighborhoods, even in communities, even in places where no one expects it. And if you enjoy stories where fake power collapses, without yelling, without confrontation, stay here, because this wasn't the last time someone tried to abuse authority.